Amazing. What's going on, guys? Um, Welcome to the broadcast. This is an amazing time. Um, I've been out for a while, and I'm just glad to be back. I am glad to be back, and this is the perfect time to come in because I happen to come back at a time where at a time during Black History Month. So I wanted to dive in a little bit on Black History Month. Um, for those of you that want to join the show, the link is at the bottom. Feel free to um, come on in, and if you want to comment or if you want to discuss the topic of the show, you're more than happy to do so. I figured it's better that I drop the link on the screen as opposed to dropping the link in the comment section. Because for some reason, every time I drop the link in the comment section, nobody wants to join. But it's again, it's your choice. Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna spend a few minutes on the uh creating the monologue for for the topic above, which is the conservatives' point of view of Black History Month. And then if there's anyone else that wants to chime in and give your thoughts about my monologue, you're more than happy to join the show and we can have a conversation. Amazing. So, um now that I got the intro out of the way and being able to explain that the fact that I've been away for a while and now I'm back in. I wanted to discuss Black History Month and whether or not it has any relevance to America. For as long as I can remember, I've been learning about Black History Month maybe about as early as the first grade. And this was back in 1988. Black History Month. What is Black History Month and why do we celebrate it? Is there any relevance to Black History Month? Well, think about it. Um, did Black people really build this country? There are reports, there are stories about the Blacks brought in as slaves, and then they had to work as slaves to create the very things that people are able to benefit from. But is that necessarily true? Is that necessarily true? When the truth of the matter is that it was white people who hired them to do to colonize the very country that we live in today. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, what is the purpose of Black History Month? What is the purpose of it? What meaning do we have of celebrating Black History Month? Because to me, Black History Month is an irrelevant month. The reason being is, if you're going to celebrate Black History Month, then you need to celebrate all of the races month. but mainly you should definitely celebrate White History Month because it was white people that were responsible for colonizing the very great country that we live in today. It was white people that brought in it was white people who set up and signed the Constitution, giving Americans the right to to the freedoms of being American. Black people weren't responsible for that. So why are we celebrating Black History Month? Because when you really think about it, what true contributions did the blacks give to America? Can anybody name any contributions? Because what I've seen is a lot of blacks were able to take advantage of the very opportunities that were created by white people, and not just any whites, but Judeo-Christian whites in this country. But yet we're celebrating a month for what? I mean, what contributions truly did the blacks bring to America? I mean, when you really think about it, what contributions did they bring, if any? I don't see the whole point of celebrating uh, a month given to blacks for any significant reason. And think about it, any type of any type of task or accomplishments that the blacks were able to achieve is really a part of American history and not a part of black history because black people are Americans. So again, unless someone can truly argue the reason to celebrate Black History Month, what is the purpose of having it? Um, I can make the argument that White History Month should be more relevant than Black history because it was the whites that it was these Judeo-Christian whites that were able to colonize and make the opportunities available that the blacks were able to take advantage of. And yet these same blacks would wimp and whine and cry and complain and moan and bitch that they were somehow held down by racism and white supremacy. But yet they took advantage of the very things that made them the people that they are today. What is the purpose of celebrating Black History Month? I want to know. That's the reason why it would be great to actually get the audience to come in and explain to me why Black History Month is relevant. Why is Black History Month relevant in our country? Why do we celebrate it? For what? To celebrate the fact that you're black? Okay, great, you're black. Amazing. I don't know how that's going to make your life any better, but Black History Month. What is it? Why should we celebrate it? And what is the main purpose of it? What is the main purpose of Black History Month? Is it just to make the blacks feel good about being black? Um, if you really want to celebrate Black History Month, okay, well, if if being black is the whole purpose of celebrating Black History Month, then great. Okay, be black. But being black doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be right. And I noticed that the blacks will rather celebrate their own skin color than they care about being right, as if being black has any type of benefit in this society. You can be black all you want. Is that is being black stopping the black on black homicide that is occurring in our country? Is being black stopping the 77% of black babies that are born out of wedlock, in which a vast majority of these people wind up becoming gangsters or so-called street gangsters that walk around with their pants hanging off their butt, trying to arouse a homosexual to sodomize their behind with their penis. Also, the same people that this also another group that comes out of the 77% of black babies that are born out of wedlock are homosexuals, emasculated men that were raised in a household filled with women. How's that working out for the blacks? Is being black stopping more than 1,800 black babies that are killed every single day at the hands of Planned Parenthood because the black slut chooses to murder the unborn child in her womb in the Planned Parenthood that is in her neighborhood? You know, it's funny. All the people that support Black Lives Matter that would rather burn down someone else's property or somebody else's business or somebody else's car, for some reason they want to leave the Planned Parenthood buildings alone. That's the reason why it in any in any event where the blacks need to riot and loot and steal, well, same thing. If the blacks choose to riot, loot, and steal because a black thug was was killed, was justifiably killed by police, the best place to run for shelter and put all of your property in is the Planned Parenthood clinics, because we all know that the blacks will destroy everything but Planned Parenthood clinics. They will definitely keep those buildings intact. You can guarantee you can put a stamp on that. You can take that to the bank and cash it. All right? You can bet your last dollar that the blacks will do everything that they can to keep the Planned Parenthood clinics intact, because there's nothing more relevant and prevalent than the blacks rushing to murder the unborn child in their womb, basically by being sluts. No, 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 no. Forget about the child that they happen to bring that they happen to bring into this world, despite the fact that the child didn't ask to be brought in this world. Oh, never mind that, because the black woman has to continue to be a slut. She has to be independent, and the baby will just get in the way unless she's collecting a welfare check for it. Amazing. It is amazing. But Black History Month, and during Black History Month, they like to display or speak about people like W.B. Du Bois, um, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, the NAACP, and all of these other people who really have zero relevance in the evolution of black folks, but they won't speak in great details of Booker T. Washington, who is a prime example of how black people should conduct themselves. Booker T. Washington was a slave. This man was born a slave, and yet never ever made any excuses about being a slave, but rather come coming up with ways to overcome it. And that's exactly what he did. He overcame slavery, educated himself because he knew that education was key into getting the into into escaping poverty, and he tried to get other blacks to do the same by creating his own institution, the Booker T. Washington Institution, and basically told blacks and basically tried to give blacks the basic arithmetic skills needed to then compete in a country where they will actually have the ability to move on and be able to live fruitfully in this country, because you know that an educated person more than likely will be able to then obtain the type of occupation that will then allow them to financially live independently. Despite despite all of the so-called tactics that they claim that Jim Crow tried to place, such as the poll tax and all this other stuff, Booker T. Washington said, "Listen, get yourself educated, get the right type of, I mean, get into a field that requires you to use that education, and then you'll be able to then get the type of job that would allow you to then pay the so-called poll tax to allow you to vote." Booker T. Washington was a man of perseverance and not excuses. Never ever made an excuse. Whilst W.B. Du Bois made excuses and then tried to um, capitalize on those excuses by trying to get the blacks to believe that the government owes you something as opposed to you owing something to yourself. All right. W.B. Du Bois was a communist. He was an enemy of America. He was a loser, a low down, dirty loser, an unpatriotic loser, a person that I have no sympathy for. That's the reason why when he finally denounced his US citizenship and moved to Ghana to live for the final 3 years of his life, the first thing that I said to myself was, "Well, what took so long?" That man should have denounced his citizenship the moment that he created uh, the communist organization called the NAACP, an organization that claims that they stand for the blacks but do nothing for the true black plague in America. And we know what's plaguing the blacks in America: poor choices, not poor circumstances, poor choices. Blacks choosing government programs as opposed to choosing to work hard and earn it on your own. Blacks, black women choosing the government to take care of her children instead of her husband. Black women choosing to marry the government instead of marrying their husbands that they chose to create a child with out of wedlock. We know what's really plaguing the black community. But somehow, some way, these people are celebrated during Black History Month. I wonder why. But how does celebrating Black History Month really advance the blacks? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. How does this help the blacks, if at all? Because I can make the argument that it doesn't, and that all Black History Month is a holiday to appease the blacks, to make them feel good rather than make them do right. Doesn't hold the blacks accountable for their own poor decisions. Sorry. Oh, wow. Sorry about that, guys. When you're going live, things like that happens. How is this helping the blacks? How is appeasing to the blacks, appeasing to their feelings, and not holding them accountable for their actions? How is that helping? All right. Well, it doesn't help. It hinders. And the blacks continue to hinder on their idea that on the idea of the very um so-called black leaders and the black preachers and the Democratic Party, that they have to continue to feel like victims and continue to feel as if somebody else owes them something that they should be able to get on their own. I'm sorry. Black History Month sounds like an idea where the blacks would rather disassociate themselves from America and just have a whole month dedicated to them just to make them feel great that they are black when they should feel great that they are American. But maybe if the blacks were to truly, truly live by um their origin, all right? When they say that they are African American, maybe they should truly, truly live by their race of African Americans and go to Africa. Go live in Africa since these very blacks who hate being in this country and don't want to be in this country, maybe they should go to Africa. Go somewhere else to live. All right? Heck, Brittany Griner did that, right? Brittany Griner, the tall, big bird looking lesbian, was claiming that America was oppressing her. Hence the reason why she didn't want to stand for the flag. But the moment that she commits a crime, like the black thug that she is, in a foreign country, guess who she then is guess who she decided to cry to in order to get her out of captivity. Oh, yeah, the very country that she accused of oppressing her. What a hypocrite. If I were the president of the United States, I would have ignored her calls. I would say, "Well, why do you need our help? I mean, why would you ask a country that's oppressing you to then get you unoppressed when you feel real oppression in another country?" I mean, that is the true example of hypocrisy. How can you ask a country that's oppressing you to help you get out of a country that's oppressing you? Reason. Can't make this stuff up. But this is the type of country that we live in. We live in a country now where we can just give people, we can make specific people feel like victims. We're not supposed to make them feel like individuals, even though this country was founded by individuality. This company was founded on people being individuals, people being free to do what they want to do, for people to live in a free enterprise and free commerce where they can be able to trade goods, and by trading goods they can be able to then help other people obtain jobs in trading goods. Because mark my word, this country was founded on capitalism, and it's capitalism that allows socialism to exist. Because in order for socialism to exist, it has to take from something. Because we all know socialism doesn't create anything. Socialism doesn't make anything, but they take. And maybe if they realize what it is that they were if they realize what it is that they were getting, then maybe they wouldn't take then maybe they wouldn't take advantage of what the country has to offer. But I'm just so sick of the blacks. I'm so sick of these wimping, whining, ungrateful blacks taking and not appreciating. You don't appreciate, but you'll take. No, you shouldn't have to take from a country that you don't appreciate. When I become the president of the United States, any black person that chooses to talk badly or to speak against our country, speak against the flag, I will make sure that these people will get deported quickly because I will consider these people terrorists. Anyone that speaks against our country should be immediately deported from our country. It should be considered a terroristic threat to denounce our country in any form. Now, do we have the freedom of speech? Of course we do. But just like we hold people accountable for, but just like this country wants to now hold conservatives accountable for their actions, I mean, for their words, well, we should also hold anybody else accountable for saying things that do not align with our country. Simple. And the blacks are proving every single day, most, not all, but most blacks are proving every single day as a why they do not belong in our country. These ungrateful blacks that don't mind taking but won't appreciate the very things that that were given to them. These people don't deserve anything. All right? For one, the blacks have not contributed to any major thing that 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 people can use regularly for their benefit. But they don't mind taking reparations that doesn't belong to them. They don't mind taking welfare and just sitting on their butts and being lazy. They don't mind taking a WIC card and taking more than they should and then trying to sell it to other people. See, blacks don't mind doing that. But God forbid if you tell a black person that because you people are creating children out of wedlock, or because you black women are creating children out of wedlock, you are a slut. Oh, God forbid if you say something like that. Now you are shaming them. God forbid if you tell a black woman that she weighs twice the size of an average woman and weighs more than a man, that's unacceptable. Oh, now you're fat shaming. Can't make this stuff up. God forbid if you try to tell black people the right thing to help them better their lives because you care about them so much that you're willing to tell them the truth so that they won't further um detriment their lives. And now you are the enemy of the people. I'm the enemy of the people for being honest by telling them that they're getting ready to walk into a ditch. I'm the enemy of the people by being honest with the blacks. I could tell you right now, I have done more for blacks just by telling them that they can do better than the ones that keep telling them that they are victims. Because the very people, the so-called black leaders that are telling you that that the blacks are victims are the very people that are exploiting their emotions for profit. These should be the enemy of the people, but instead the blacks flock to them as if they are God. And then have the nerve to go to church every day thinking that God is going to help solve their problems. But we all know that work without faith is dead. So they can have all the faith in the world, but their faith is dead because they're not willing to put in the time and effort to make it work. It's amazing. It is amazing. I care more about the blacks than these so-called black leaders do because I'm willing to tell the blacks the truth because I want to see them do better. Why? Because the blacks have shown history of doing better. All right? Now, I was born in 1982. I was born about 18 yeah, about 18 years after the Civil Rights Act was signed into law. So I didn't have a chance to live during the good old days when the blacks were the true model citizens of America. Unfortunately, I grew up in an era where it was common that 3 out of 4 black women would have a child out of wedlock. I lived in an era where 30% of black people were married. I lived in an era where black women would the ones that were married, the ones that were uh impregnated out of wedlock would go and murder the unborn child in their womb easily. I lived in an era where young black men and black women would curse out and disrespect their elders. I lived in an era where black men and black women disrespected authority. I lived in an era where the blacks would implement violence on random people. That's the reason why when the when the old timers, the ones that were born um the ones that were born in the 30s and in the 40s, the ones that were born in an era where where the blacks were model citizens, when they said that, hey, back then we didn't act in this manner, it was just surprising to me because I grew up in an era where the blacks behave anything but. I thought it was just common behavior that this is the way that the blacks would just conduct themselves at all times. I didn't know that the blacks actually used to speak proper English. I didn't know that. How could I have known that? How was I supposed to know that the blacks actually had behaved in a manner that was respected by all races? So that's the reason why it is important that we understand what is more prevalent in the black community. And celebrating Black History Month has no prevalence in advancing the black community. What does it do? What is there to celebrate? And if there's anyone out there that can tell me why, that can tell me the significance of celebrating Black History Month, like I said, I dropped the link at the bottom. Join the show, and we can have a discussion. I just want to know, what is the purpose of having Black History Month? Is it to make the blacks feel good? I mean, what is the purpose? Because as far as I'm concerned, there is no purpose. But but maybe there is. I just need to know what the purpose is. What is the point? All right. Um I believe there's 2 more days of February left. That means that February's winding down. Means Black History Month is winding down. And I wanted to I mean I wanted to do the point of view of Black History Month the same way that I did last year, where I came out with a video like every other day, um, pinpointing out people who were pinpointing out black figures that were prominent figures and are celebrated in the black community, and I wanted to point them out for who they really were. Tomorrow I will do a video on Colin Kaepernick. Um, if you guys are unfamiliar with Colin Kaepernick uh, was a black. Well, I can't say he's black. He's a mixed quarterback that used to play for the San Francisco 49ers from 2012 up until 2016. He left football because well, in his final year, he started to kneel for the flag and basically threw his NFL career away over a black thug who refused to cooperate with police. So I will do a video on him and then more and then you guys will be able to see um the Colin Kaepernick that if you're not familiar with already, you'll be much more familiar with him after I'm done conducting the video on him. So stay tuned for that for tomorrow. But going back to Black History Month, everybody wants to give this month to the blacks because it's supposed to be a prominent month for black people. But what has black people contributed to America that is of any value? I see the blacks taking things that were already in place in America, but I don't really see anything that the blacks have contributed to. So why celebrate a month with a bunch of people who really didn't contribute to anything? Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I would like for someone to join the show and we can speak on it. But for as long as I've been living, I have never ever really seen um the blacks really contribute to anything that they haven't taken advantage of living in the greatest country on the planet, the freest country on the planet, a free country that allows anyone to go from having nothing at all to having it all. It's amazing. As a matter of fact, what do you guys think about celebrating White History Month? What do you guys think about that? Which, by the way, I will be celebrating in the month of July because let's face it, July just feels white. It just feels white. I mean, think about what occurs in July: barbecues, fireworks, hanging out at the lake. For some reason, because it's July and normally because it's the summertime and normally it's hot, you just want to be next to water. But July just feels white. The beaches, it just feels white. That's the reason why White History Month is something more prevalent to celebrate because whether you people like it or not, white people, Judeo-Christian white people were responsible for creating the very country that we live in. The very country in which other non-Americans or or illegal aliens are willing to break their necks into entering I mean into coming into this country illegally because they know the benefits of doing so. There are a bunch of illegal aliens that are coming from Mexico to break into our country because they know that they're going to reap the very benefits that are provided by we the people, we the American people. So that's an amazing thing. What do you guys think about my hat? Yes, sir. You know, it's been a long time since I was able to put my MAGA hat on. And obviously I love America. I love this great country. I support the great white hope, Donald Trump. Trump will be running in 2024, and I'm hoping that he will get back in office because it is important. It is important to bring some stability to this great country. We need to be respected again. We're not respected in this country. We are not respected, and we need to regain that respect back by bringing in a person that will truly lead this country to prosperity. And that person is Donald J. Trump, the great white hope. The great white hope. Amazing. But anyway, so back to Black History Month. What is the big deal about Black History Month? Why do we have it? Why does it matter? I mean, I really want to get into Black History Month, but there's nothing about it that will make me want to feel that Black History Month is is relevant enough to be celebrated. Why should we celebrate it? Are we actually going to see the blacks actually pledge allegiance to the flag? I mean, why should we celebrate Black History Month? Why? For what? What has black people contributed that is of any relevance to this country? Can anyone name anything? One thing? No? Hmm. I wish I could, but I can't. Black History Month is just another way of telling the blacks that it's okay to be black, but not American. It's okay to feel like a victim to a country that gave you every opportunity to be free. It does nothing for black morality or character among the blacks. Absolutely nothing. All it does, it reminds people that that black people should rather feel good about being black than actually being children of God and doing right. I know blacks that put their black skin above God. What the? What the? Do we live in bizarro world? As if your black skin means anything. You can be black all you want. Celebrate Black History Month. Be black. Be proud that you're black. How is that helping you as a human being? How's that helping you as a person? I mean, Black History Month, the people that support Black History Month will make you believe that they're not American. They believe that there's a different set of rules. Yet these blacks were born in this country. Their birth certificate proves that they're Americans. So because they're Americans, they are subject to the very rights that any other person that was born in this country would have. And that includes whites, Indians, and any other race that lives in America. For some reason, the blacks feel that they are inferior to the whites because if not, why have a Black History Month? Why feel the need to have uh, a month that celebrates you as if you're not American. What do you feel inferior to the whites? Yet neither of these I'm sure the blacks feel that way, but yet they can't prove that they are inferior to the whites other than feeling that way. And again, while they can operate on their feelings, we operate on facts. The fact of the matter is, as long as you are a legal US citizen, you have the same rights as everyone else in this country, including blacks. Do you want to know the very people that you also have right? I mean that also shares the same rights that you have, blacks. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. All right, you have the same type of rights as white people. Oh my goodness! Oh, breaking news! I just broke it. I just broke it on my live stream. I just broke it. Breaking news. Black people have the same rights as white people. Oh my goodness. Oh, isn't that amazing? That is so amazing. And if I had some music to play, I would play it. How about that? Okay. But yes, yes, you people have the same rights as white people. Did you not know that? Oh my goodness, you have the same rights. Um, the same people. Yes, you have the same people. You have the same rights as white people. Amazing. Isn't that amazing? That is something. So blacks, stop acting as if you are inferior. You're not inferior to white people. The only way that you can be inferior to white people is if you choose to squander the very opportunities that you have of being somebody. Then yes, then you can say that you are that based on the numbers you are inferior to white people. Yes, you can say that. But then you can't wimp and whine and complain and beg for benefits because you had the opportunity to have the same you had the same opportunity to live the American dream and to experience financial freedom, but you threw it away. Okay. You wasted it. You can't get it back. Sorry. And it's funny because the blacks, for some reason, they claim that white people are the ones that are holding them back because it's the white people that are more financially well off when truly it's the Asians that are ones that are actually um outperforming and out earning everyone. But what can you do? You can't tell the blacks anything. The blacks are still going to walk around as victims while they wind up becoming victims of their own ignorance, victims of their own immorality, victims of their own lack of character. Black on black homicide, no one says a thing about it. They sweep it under the rug. Are you trying to tell me that systemic racism and white supremacy made a black person pick up a gun and kill another black person? Ooh. Systemic racism and white supremacy did that? Mm. Um, the amount of unarmed blacks killed by whites is nothing compared to the amount of blacks killed by other blacks. The amount of unarmed blacks killed by whites doesn't even reach up to 100. But in 2021, almost 10,000, nearly 10,000 blacks were killed at the hands of other blacks. And for some reason, that is swept under the rug. There were more blacks killed by other blacks in 1 year than blacks killed by other blacks in the entire history of the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan couldn't even kill that many blacks. That's a little more than 3 times the amount of blacks that were killed in 1 year at the hands of other blacks. The Ku Klux Klan couldn't even kill that many blacks. It's amazing. It's amazing. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. I wish I would have had some people, you know, join the show, but it's okay. I did my little 50-minute monologue. I think that's more than enough. And I am going to sign out. Be on the lookout for the Colin Kaepernick video. If you guys don't know who this guy is, you will know by the end of the video. And I appreciate the people who tune in into the live stream. Much appreciated. You could have been anywhere else in this world, but you chose to spend your time listening to me, and that is truly appreciated. Trust me, I do not take it for granted. And with that being said, this is the conservative. I'm signing out. Have a blessed day. Have a good night. I hope you were able to take something from this. And Black History Month is not as prevalent as White History Month. So be on the lookout when I celebrate White History Month in July. Amazing. Have a good night, guys. Oh shit. Oh wow. 2 people.